Awesome day to you, awesome people, and thank you for joining us for your midweek awesomeness. Another week of What's Your Story, where we share, empower, heal, and inspire. I hope your week has been going awesome, and I hope it gets even more awesome for you. Again, another awesome guest for you guys. But before that, let me go through the little, you know, whatever you call it. But anyway, What's Your Story is brought to you by Say Something, which is an online store where you can find custom apparel for inspiration and elevation, such as the Gugoji brand, exclusively at saysomething.company.sites. And it's also brought to you by Kids Love Money, which is an interactive book series that teaches children financial literacy. You can find that at kidslovemoney.shop. And speaking of kidslovemoney.shop, on that site, for those who know they want to do something for the kids in their lives, whether it be your child, grandchild, niece, nephew, or whatever, but don't know how to start, there is a free resource on there that provides you with 7+ ways that you can invest for kids. So I advise you to check that out. It's free, FREE, free. That's at kidslovemoney.shop. But again, my name is Shenrika Crawford Benjamin. I am your host for What's Your Story. You can catch us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Say Something Facebook page. And you can also check it out on my personal page as well. But before I bring on my guest, we'll be right back with you. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Again, thank you for joining us on What's Your Story, where we share, empower, heal, and inspire. If you're joining us on Facebook, hit the like button, hit the share button, drop some comments. If you're joining us on YouTube, hit the bell icon to be notified. Hit the subscribe button so you can always go back and catch us later. But again, thank you so much for joining us. I value your time. I value you taking the time to spend with us this morning. But let me bring on my awesome guest, because she is everything, right? She is one part empowerment duo. She is the coach's coach. She is Women's Empowerment Network. She is the Divapreneur Network. She is all Lisa Santiago. But without further ado, this is the beauty and the brains behind the Empowerment Publishing and Multimedia. Awesome day to you, beautiful lady.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be on here with you.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you just finished your show, Let's Talk. Let's talk about it. So she also has a show. So I told you she's a lot of stuff, but she's all things. I am Lisa Santiago. McNeill, let me put that on there. But thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to bless us with your beauty, and bless us with your brains and all the good stuff you got going on. But this is What's Your Story, so I'm gonna let you have the floor and let the people know what's your story.
Absolutely. What's your story? What's my story? So for me, it was about operating in necessity. There was so much that was going on in my life that could have held me back, held me down, discouraged me, and desensitized me to so many things. But finally coming to a place where, you know what, I have to embrace that, yes, these things happened to me. Yes, I went through certain levels of abuse. I went through certain levels of neglect. I went through certain levels of just being in really bad situations, but I still learned from them. And I could have been down on myself for a very long time, with whatever the reason was, with drugs or with promiscuity or with, you could feel down about a lot of things that you really didn't do because you chose to do them. You did them because you had to do them, or you were escaping, or whatever the case was, right? The environment. or you can take the lessons that you've learned from those things and use them to help someone else. So I decided to be very honest with my story, and I wrote my book, Discovering Your Why, A Journey to Wholeness, which
Mhm.
really was a, like, here it is, all in. This is all that I went through. Judge it however you felt, but it
Mhm.
is my truth. And what I found was there was a tribe of women who were hiding some of the things that they had gone through in life because
Mhm.
they were embarrassed about what they had endured, because they were uncomfortable sharing it, or
Mhm.
because they felt like they would be judged because of it. And so, what I decided to do was to help them to tell their stories.
Mhm.
Now, everybody who has a story does not necessarily have this, horrible situation that they've overcome, although there's a lot of them. There's a lot of stories where people have overcome abuse and neglect. There's a lot of story where there's overcome drugs, where they've overcome alcoholism, where they've overcome being left behind. But there's
Mhm.
also a lot of stories of turning their lives around, where they had nothing and they turned it into something. And you know what? Every one of those stories has a lesson in it, not just for the person that shares it, but for those that read it and hear it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you wrote your story, you put it out there, but and then that caused you to want to become a publisher, or you weren't thinking about the publishing side yet. You were just like, okay, I'm going to help people write their stories.
So I was not thinking about the publishing side, and no, I wasn't even helping people write their stories. I was helping people to come to terms with their stories at
Mm.
that time. Come to term with your story. Understand that this happened to you, but how you respond to it is truly what the content of your character is. How you respond to whatever happened is really the litmus test of who you are. And so
Right.
in that process of helping them to navigate that space, I I helped them to uncover their truth. And then, of course, many of them were like, well, I want to tell my truth. I want to share my story. How do I do that? And so it evolved into not just coaching them through that process, but then helping them to shape it and to form it into a book that sells.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, getting to that point, did that lead to like your empower women's empowerment network, or was that first and then?
Women's Empowerment Networks has been going on since August of 2013. I
Okay.
published my book in 2015. So I have been helping women before publishing my story, although
Mhm.
I was sharing my story in speaking forums and such, but it
Mhm.
was not as concrete, I believe, until after I had published it.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And then empowerment publishing came as a result of all of the women who are like, now this is great. I'm glad I can share my story, but I want to publish my story. And can you help me do that? And so I had to decide if that was an element that I wanted to, incorporate into
Mhm.
what it is that I'm doing. And to be quite honest, I'm glad that I did, but there's also been a shift and a revelation in that I somehow also kind of got lost in that.
Mm.
Because truthfully, the point is, or the purpose, the calling was to help women to come to terms with their story. And as my publishing company became more and more successful, people wanted to come to me to publish their story, some of which they hadn't even fully come to terms with.
Right.
And so now coming to a place where I'm willing to stand firm and require the connection of the two. You
Oh,
have to be sharing a story that you are knowledgeable of, that is your truth, and that you are healed from it. We don't
oh,
want anybody sharing anything that they don't really know about.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, they could do it, they could go do it somewhere else. They just can't do it with me.
Right. Right.
I'm
But
not
that
the
is
boss of you, you know.
Yeah, and this is for everybody who's been asking me about, publishing a book. This is the beautiful lady that published the book. So I tell you, I got somebody for you, and this is she, or this is her, or however you say it. But this is the publisher herself.
Absolutely. And I
So, and that's
also
her
have the
information.
cards on standby here. I love these cards. I play with them with my grandson, or we don't really play games with them. We use them. We use them in conversation, and we use them in study. And my grandson is very, very good at math. Very,
Yeah.
very good at math. So helping to then enhance that math experience and put it, well, that's upside down, and put it with the understanding of what these terms mean so that math can also have
Yes.
so the math can also have some meaning so that it can have more glue. One of the things that I remember for myself, even about education, when it was abstract, when it didn't have something that connected to it in real life, it made it a little bit harder to
Difficult.
retain. Yeah.
Hmm.
So thank you for that.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Your book. Okay, and you have more than one book that you've also written.
Yes, I
Um,
have several books. I have some children's books that I've written. This was one of the children's books that I wrote, Raised by Chickens, and it is a story about an eagle that was accidentally left on a farm. And
oh,
it was raised up by the chickens in the way that chickens are raised. The chickens are
hmm,
raised to scratch and scrape. Chickens are raised to find, hunt, and peck. And
hmm,
this eagle was never good at that. And it was consistently believing that, you know what, I don't know how to do this. I'm not good for anything. But it finally saw another eagle, and it finally saw the possibilities that were in store for it. That eagles are not supposed to scratch and scrape. Eagles
hmm.
are supposed to soar and fly.
Wow.
And when that eagle found its own reality, its own strength, it was able to become so much more than it had ever thought of. And that happens to be the same for many of us. We keep trying to conform
Oh
to
yeah.
what the world says or what society says or even what mom and dad say inadvertently. They're not realizing that, you know what, sometimes the world doesn't know what you were called to be, but you
Right.
have the right to decide. And once you realize that you're not a chicken, you can soar with the eagles.
Oh yeah. And I didn't even know you had that book. I was thinking about the what is it? The smallest acorn, or the acorn book
The
was
tiniest
what
little
I had in mind. I
acorn.
know that. Yeah.
Yes, The Tiniest Little Acorn is another
The,
children's book that I produced, and it is about the tiny little acorn that was crushed underfoot and that was buried in the dark in the dirt, cold and wet, and it felt as if it would never ever amount to anything. And she had a lot of jealousy in her heart for the pine cones that sat above on the earth, because the children would collect the pine cones and people would make wreaths out of them and do
mhm,
other kind of beautiful arts and crafts with them, and they would just overlook her every single time until she
mhm,
was crying out in the wilderness one day, and um, mighty oak tree said, "Why do you cry?"
mm,
And she responded, "I am all alone, I'm overlooked, I'm crushed underfoot. I am wet all the time, and I hate my life." And the
mm.
mighty oak tree responded, "You observe well, but you understand not. The
Wow.
conditions that you are in are exactly what is needed for you too to become a mighty oak tree."
Mm.
And
That's a
those,
word for somebody this morning.
absolutely, and those pine cones will forever be the tree that will never be, because pine cones do not turn into fruit
True.
trees.
Right.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. So she has some powerful stories, guys. You see that she's written herself and published herself along with everyone else's book she's published. Brittany's on there. She's who has a new book out. If you hadn't saw it on my site or on my page rather, I shared it. Don't let the wheelchair fool you. So check out Brittany and her new book, and she has another book as well. But
Don't let the wheelchair fool you, and I'm living my blessed life.
live my blessed life
Cerebral
instead.
palsy. Palsy.
Yeah, so be sure to check her out also. But with your books, you're also going into I think it was a video or something that you were looking
So
to get
I Yeah, well, so
or
I
movie.
help. Yeah, we do video. We do video. We do a lot of video launches and a lot of video programming for authors and speakers, especially since the pivot with the pandemic, with people going
Hmm.
online. There are a lot of people that are unfamiliar with how to use technology to expand and extend their reach and share who and what they are with the world, and setting it up in such a way that they can do it professionally. They can incorporate commercials. They can incorporate so many different things. They can leverage their programming as the sponsorship for their products and programming, or they could have other sponsors on. So we help them to set that up so that they can properly configure themselves for success in that, and show them how to use the different tools.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, and well, I guess moving to you're also the coach's coach.
Yes. So
So,
with the coaching, with the publishing now, as I become more in alignment with how it all needs to work authentically. The coaching is oftentimes twofold. One is coaching people through writing their books, but it's also coaching them then into the place where they can help people with the things that they've learned. Because so many times the people that have overcome something, learned something about life, whether it was through divorce, whether it was through whatever whatever they went through in life, they also now know that there is an audience, a waiting audience that is willing to learn what they learn, but they don't know how to structure that. They don't know how to set that up as a business, and showing them the pieces, parts, the components that will help them to do that successfully is what I do.
okay, awesome. And with the Divapreneur Network.
So the Divapreneurs Network was really a necessity out of 2020, I think around March 2020,
Mhm.
when so many people lost their jobs, they went home, and there was a lot of need for online merchandising. And
Mhm.
I had identified an online merchant that was really easy to use and cost effective. It actually could be free. So I actually, with the Divapreneur Network, created a course that could help them to set up their own online store and be able to sell their own products and services through it. Now, we started out as an opportunity to provide them with the merchandising for that, but now we many of those people, particularly ladies who set up their stores, have their own products, which we're fine with, but we just help them to set up those sites for them, and it's a downloadable course that they can actually learn how to create their own e-commerce platform.
Right. And I did take that course, and that's how Say Something came about. So, and it's a phenomenal course, and it's step by step. Is still available?
So I actually, it's been taken down because the system changed. The
Mhm.
system that I walked people through, that process has changed. So I'm going to
Mhm.
do another series of those classes and record it, and then we'll put it back out there for them. It's a cheap course. It's only $25 for the download. I'm going to keep that price that way, and we'll just walk you through it. Each step is just point and click, point and click, point and click, show you how to put everything in there, and then you will be able to set your store up.
Yeah, and it was very easy and to go through the steps. I mean, help and the site itself is very is very user friendly. So that was a phenomenal opportunity, because that's what it is, an opportunity.
Yes,
And I mean, you set up the store, you put something in the store, it sells itself, so
absolutely.
that's the less something that's working for you. I mean, of course, depending on
Absolutely.
what you got, you have to do the shipping part of it. But
Right.
I mean, the store runs by itself, so you can be
Yeah.
off doing something else, right?
And we helped almost 400 um, women and teens to
Hmm.
become e-commerce entrepreneurs. And so I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, what you got going on now? What's upcoming, or what you working on?
So I'm still working with some authors right now. I've got some new books that'll be coming out. I've got quite a few repeat authors, which is always great, where there's another
Hmm.
element of their stories that's coming out. We're going to be doing another author showcase on October the 31st for children's books. I would love if Kids Love Money but just don't understand it could be a part of it, along
Yes.
with I'm reaching out first to my authors of children's books, but we may have a slot or two available for non-empowerment publishing authors who just have a product that they want to share with the children. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah. So if you guys that have books, children's books, and you want to be a part of it, then make sure you hit Lisa up and let her know. Destiny says she's interested. Well, this is the lady you need to holler at, Destiny.
Absolutely. Destiny,
Don't
I
be in
would
my inbox, ask me who, how, and what,
that's right.
why. Here she is.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would love to see that. We're looking to do it on October the 31st, which is a Sunday. I know
Mhm.
that some people are, celebrating Halloween or whatever, but for us,
Mhm.
there's a good number of children that will be at home that we want to be able to enjoy some good, clean fun. So we'll have those authors sharing, and we will also have a downloadable worksheet packet that we'll be
Mhm.
sending out to those that participate in the showcase so that they can also keep the fun going with their kids.
Oh, absolutely. And most people don't know that you're a minister, right? An ordained minister.
I am. I am. I've been ordained since 2010. And I am also a pastor. And I believe that, our gifts are intended to make room for us. And I do
Oh
believe
yeah.
that sometimes our life circumstances are God's way of equipping us with the skills, gifts, and talents that we would have left underdeveloped.
Right. So had you not, or had we not went through the things that we went through, then we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing today.
Absolutely.
Possibly. So, what would you tell someone that's looking to write a book or tell their story or have a story, they're scared to tell a story, or what words would you
I would say that you need to get
listen?
with someone that can help you. If you're looking to write a book and you're not ready to talk to anyone, then you can go to iamlisasantiago.com and you can download the free ebook, Write a Book That Sells in 7 Simple Steps. But if you'd like to talk, just to share with me what your idea is, what your concept is, then you can go to iamlisasantiago.com/calendar and book a consultation. And we can have a quick talk to see how or if I'm a right fit for you. And then we can take it from there.
Awesome, awesome. So, any last words or anything else you got coming out that you want to share?
So, truth
The
of the
show
matter is, you are right now what the world has been waiting for. Each individual one of us has a skill, gift, and talent that someone has been waiting for. You've overcome trials, you've overcome situations, and to be quite honest, the lessons that you learned are exactly what the world is in need of. But so often we are not willing to be vulnerable. Stand in your authenticity, stand in your truth, and help someone that needs who and what you are. Reach back and pull through, is what I like to say.
Oh
Reach
yeah.
back and pull through, become who you needed. And if I can help you, I look forward to doing just that.
Awesome, awesome. And again, that's her information. That's her contact information. That's scrolling along the bottom. Her Facebook or Instagram. If you want to schedule a consultation, go to I am Lisa Santiago, .com to do so. She has a children's children's book showcase. If I'm not saying in the children's author showcase
With the
about
children's
kids'
book
books.
edition. It's okay.
Thank
On
you.
October the 31st, it will be at 2 p.m. We want to give you a chance to get finished with church and everything. But we are looking forward to sharing some amazing authors and some amazing books with you. We're looking to have Kids Love Money, they just don't understand it on there. We're looking to have Don't Let the Wheelchair Fool You on there. We're looking to have quite a few others. We have The
Yes,
Warrior Princess. We obviously have Raised by Chickens. We have Why Rhinos Make Great Salespeople. We have a
mhm.
great number of children's book authors. I think we're up to 13 or 14. And we
Yeah.
would certainly love, love, love to have you and your children participate in the event to let them know that there are people that look like us, that sound like us, that are doing work for our community.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And where can they see that? Or how is that? How would
So
they be
the
able to
Empowerment
access it?
Author Showcase will be live on the Empowerment Duo page in the Empowerment Network, and the registrations will be available on Eventbrite. But again, it's an open programming. It'll be on the Empowerment Duo page.
Okay, awesome. Well, Lisa, again, I thank you. I'm so grateful for you taking the time out. I know you rushed from one show to another show, so
It's
I'm
okay.
going to be yeah. I'm not going to take up your time, and you're a very busy lady. I know. But again, I thank you for joining me and sharing your beautiful gifts and talents with everyone and your story as well. Y'all make sure y'all check her out. I'm gonna put you in the green room for a second, and I'll be right back with you. Okay?
I'll be here.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, I cut her off. Sorry. But guys, I thank you so much for joining us on What's Your Story, where we share, empower, heal, and inspire. It's my goal that you gain some information, something that you can use. I mean, even if it's, to pass along to someone else. But yeah, don't be afraid of your story because it's made you who you are. A lot of times we get caught up in what we're going through that we don't see the lesson in it and the blessing in it because it is, and it may not be, we may not feel like that at the time, but that's exactly what it is. Also, I want to give a shout out to Vixie's Media, to Miki, for bringing my design to life. Check out that Googoji at saysomething.company.site. And again, check out the kids' books, Kids Love Money at Kids Love Money book series at kidslovemoney.shop. Check out Lisa's wonderful books that she's created. Brittany's on here. Check out Brittany's book. If you got a book, you're thinking about writing a book, get with Lisa. She's dropped her link in the comments. So that way, all you gotta do is hit that link, schedule an appointment, speak with her, and move forward. But thank you guys again. Don't forget, hit the like, share, comment, subscribe, notification icon, all of that good stuff. I thank you. I hope you have an awesome rest of your week. I love you guys, and thank you for joining us on What's Your Story.